Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living with me, Mark Candelaria. I'm an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I'm the founder and now a partner of a fabulous 25-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and now Napa over the last 20 years, and in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all of the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Okay, a happy new year to our good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I'll tell you what, we are getting close to getting our kitchen put together, and so many people are helping us on that project. And I'll tell you, one that I always enjoy working with and traveling with and cooking with is my good friend Dave Stockett and his lovely wife Becky, and their crew are helping us out tremendously there in the kitchen, so we want to thank them. They do fantastic work, and anytime you got Dave and Adam and his son Adam and their crew on one of our projects, that's one area I don't have to worry about. I know it's going to be first class all the way. So thanks again, guys. Let's make it a great year. Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope you're ready for a big week. It's Monday morning, and I've got a fun guest here, a guy I've known for a long, long time, or at least I thought I know until I do these podcasts, and I figure I don't know him hardly at all. But it's my good friend Deric Andre. He's a senior project manager at Cyber Group. They are a high-tech AV company, and like I said, I've worked with them for many, many years. And welcome this morning.
Thank you.
It's awesome. You've never done a podcast before,
I haven't. This is my first.
And I was like, why are you talking to an AV guy? I said, well, listen, these AV guys do some amazing stuff. And I've known you for, like I said, 18 years approximately, because I think I've known you since you were there.
Yep, I think so.
And
been a long time.
You've done some wild houses for me, and I'm sure you've done some houses that I can't even imagine. So
yeah, we've done some pretty amazing projects. I've been fortunate to be involved in some pretty amazing things.
That's cool. So we're going to talk a little about what you do, what your industry's up to, because I know there's a lot of tech geeks out there that want to know about what's happening on the AV world. But before we go there, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you even get into this business? Where are you from? And let's kind of backtrack a little bit here.
Sure. So I'm 46 years old. I married. I've been with Cyber Group for 18 years. And I actually originally grew up in North Dakota.
Okay.
And made my way down here just kind of almost by accident.
You went to college in North Dakota, though, too, right?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in a small town outside of Fargo, about 45 minutes, farming community, small town called Hunter.
Yep.
And then went to college in Fargo at North Dakota State University. Go Bison.
Go Bison.
And after college, then made my way down here.
So now, how did you make your way down here? Was it like, I'm tired of the snow, I'm tired of the cold, I want to go to Arizona, or what was it?
I had a real good friend in college, and his girlfriend actually moved down here. She was a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, and my friend and I came down to visit her in the fall of 1996. And being from North Dakota, I'd never really been anywhere that was warm like this. And instantly fell in love with just the climate and just the city. I mean, it's the beautiful area.
So how old were you then?
That was in 1996. So I would have been 24.
24. Okay, and you're done with college. So you were single. Were you single?
Yes, single.
You were single. So your background, your education was in elementary teaching, right? Wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah. So I actually graduated with an education degree and decided to make a move down here. Thought that I was going to be a teacher. Showed up and had a couple job interviews, and realized quickly that I wasn't going to be able to make enough money to make a living. So
Interesting. Isn't it funny how people find some of that stuff out after they get their degree?
yeah, that's unfortunately the part I think that everyone kind of pushes your kids to college and thinks that's going to be the best scenario, but there's a lot of other things involved.
I know. I hear that from everybody all the time, and it's definitely a topic that I think about a lot because I went to college, but I never graduated from college. And
that's interesting.
There's so many opportunities out there, and I think a lot of people use, I didn't get a degree, and they make it an excuse. And the way I look at things, there's really no excuses. The only the excuse is kind of laziness, to be honest with you. There's always a way if you just kind of get after it, right? I mean, you're another example of that.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
So you came down here. You said teaching is not going to pay the bills. I'm here in Arizona. It's beautiful. There's beautiful women. There's nice cars. There's a lot of fun things down here. I'm going to need to make a little more dough, right?
Right.
So where'd you go from there?
So I was down here a couple months and kind of just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I knew that while I was in college, I'd actually worked at Best Buy. And I always really enjoyed different, whether it was car audio video or car audio or it was home audio video, I always liked those kind of things. And so I started looking at opportunities and happened to run across a job application for ADT Security. So I went and applied, and part of the requisite was that you had to have college degree.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
so
at
you had that.
I had that. So I applied and got the position, and it was in sales, and I'd always, been a people person, so
Yeah.
I could deal with that, and started that, and that was in 1997, and I ended up being there for about 4 years.
And you were doing sales for security systems?
Yes, so all residential home security, and part of what they did in like the late 2001, is they had found a company here in the valley that had about 1,000 security contracts, monitoring contracts, and they decided to buy that small company out. And the owner had been doing security, plus he had also been doing a little bit of audio video, audio video.
Yep.
So he introduced me into that, and he kind of taught me the ropes. And then for the last year and a half or so at ADT, I actually was doing home audio video, and then happened to be on a job site one day and met my former boss, John Summer.
Yep.
And
great guy.
Yep. He decided to give me the opportunity to come to work for him, and I said yes. So.
So did he twist your arm real hard, or did it look like a great opportunity, or what convinced you to make the switch?
It was one of those things where I just I was having some struggles with the format and kind of the management at ADT, and just really wanted to try to make something different happen, and they weren't letting me. And when he presented me the opportunity, I said, yeah, let's do it.
So it was still pretty much at the beginning of that company, wasn't it? Or
yeah, John started his company in 1996.
Okay.
So we were small.
Right.
When I started in 2001 with John, we had 8 total employees, including the 2 of us.
Right.
So it was a small crew of 4 or 5 technicians, a office manager, and John and I were doing all the sales.
Right. So you're at the grassroots part of that company, the very beginning.
For sure.
Yeah. So that company grew pretty big, pretty fast, didn't it?
Yeah.
The economy was pretty good in 2001, and you rode the wave up to 2008.
Yeah, and then suddenly in 2008 the lights turned off.
Yeah, pardon the pun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about that. I mean, what did you learn, and how did you learn, and how did it grow?
I mean, the thing with John and the business was that we had some real relationships with some key builders, and even through the times where things were, somewhat slowing down, we were able to keep growing, keep hiring new guys, keep doing more work, and just kept our head down and
Worked
plugged
hard.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said a key word there. The relationship aspect of business is so important. I mean, I think people don't realize that part. I think a lot of people work and they do their job, but you got to get out there and you got to meet people. And I know John's done a good job of that. You're always at events, networking and meeting people, and you've got to do that.
Yeah, it's a critical portion, I think, of just that someone can remember who you are, but if you're not in their mind as far as someone that they trust and that they want to be a friend with almost,
right?
They may not always.
Or put in front of one of their clients.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. Sometimes I'll meet people and I go, wow, I think my clients would really like this guy. And then you look at the background of the company and go, yeah, this is going to be a good fit. And usually it is. Usually I'm a pretty good judge of character.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the way, you met your wife, it sounds like. Tell me about that.
So John, my former boss, actually, he and his wife introduced me to my wife, and we've been together for probably about 15 years.
Wow.
We got married 12 years ago. We just had our anniversary September 1st.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. So my wife had been married before, and so I've got two beautiful stepdaughters.
Okay.
Got one who's a sophomore at ASU, Tatum.
Wow.
And then my other is a senior in high school at Desert Mountain. So
Wow. So you're almost you're almost empty nester stage.
yeah, which is a little bit stressful, a little bit crazy. It's making my wife a little bit nuts, but we love it. So
Yeah, it's interesting the different phases you go through in life with your kids. I mean, it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
And I remember my oldest daughter, her 4 years of college just flew by. I mean, it was like, wow, I just was orientation. I'm already at graduation. How did that happen so fast?
Yeah.
So, you got to stop and kind of enjoy the journey sometimes.
For sure.
So, where's your wife from?
She's actually from was raised in Kentucky, and then she's been here in the Valley since she was like 10 or 11. So
Okay.
almost a native, but she did grow up somewhere else before
And
that.
is she in a different business, or what does she do?
She's actually the apparel manager for PXG golf company here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Parsons.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
She's been there for 3 years now, and she really likes it. So
That's great. So you guys are both kind of high tech.
yeah.
That's awesome. So at CyberSound or Cyber Group, I know it was CyberSound. I still got CyberSound in my brain from the
okay.
old days, because John sold the company, right?
Yeah, and so in 2013 he sold the company, and we kind of did a regrouping, and fast forward a couple more years, and now we've reorganized again, and really brought a lot of the same guys, same people that we had originally back, and so the way I look at it is the company's been same company for almost 25 years.
Wow, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about what Cyber Group does.
So we're a home technology company, and we've got basically 4 different divisions. We've got cyber technology, which is the technology audio-video company. Cyber shading, we do automated and manual shades. Cyber electric, and that's our electrical high voltage division. And then we've got a home networking services company as well. So clients' Wi-Fi, computer hookup, things like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. So like my little security thing, you
Yep.
guys kind of even handle some of that stuff.
Yeah, and that kind of falls into the cyber technology world as far as surveillance cameras, security, things like that. So.
Right. So all these things kind of work together now too, right? I mean, that's part of the magic of some of these systems is how they all interconnect.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, where we've kind of embraced all that, because technology has gotten to be so advanced that in the past electricians were doing they were doing the lighting control, and then somebody else was doing a shading system, and today that technology has gotten to be so advanced that you really have to be an expert in all of it, or
Right.
or you're going to fail.
Right. I used to always tell people, "What's the guest room for?" I said, "Well, that's for Deric. He's going to always be at your house fixing your AV system."
Yeah.
I mean, so some of these things get so complicated sometimes, and I always try to tell clients, keep it simple. Don't overcome. I remember there was some systems, I can't remember what they were, where they could control your toaster, and it's like, come on, just put the toast in the damn toaster and set it to brown, and you're fine.
Yep.
You don't need your home automation system to make your toast.
Yep.
So, do you agree with that? Do you think there's a point where people overcomplicate some of these systems?
There can be. I mean, the one advantage that I think that we've found to really help our clients is that, sometimes simple isn't always the least expensive.
Right.
There needs to be some technology and something in the background that's kind of doing all the steps for you,
Right.
so that there is that simple one button press, because even in a simple family room, let's say someone in surround sound, there's going to be a TV, a surround receiver, that's the amplifier, there's a cable box or satellite box, so there's 5 or 6 different things. You either have 5 or 6 different remotes laying on the coffee table, or
Right.
you have the convenience of picking up an iPad or your phone and just literally pressing one button.
Yeah.
But there's a lot happening in the background, so that's what our job is to make that simple for them.
Right.
And kind of a philosophy that our company has is that if we do our job right, we hopefully can make the clients' lives better, and and more secure, and also more fun.
Right.
And that's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, the systems are kind of fun when you can, if you like going back to the family room, you want to watch a movie, you can hit one button. You can say, you can have a whole button that just says movie, and it'll drop the shades down. It'll amp everything up, take your lights down to a level, and you got the movie scene,
Yep.
right?
Simple as that.
Yeah. So I always think that's kind of neat, especially on these large houses where let's say you got 10,000 or 20,000 square feet and you want to go into party mode. You just hit the party button, right?
Correct.
And everything is kind of predetermined to kind of create that perfect party ambiance throughout the whole house.
Yeah, and that's really the big benefit of the technology that's available. And that's what we're here for, is to not have the client have to think through 20 different steps. It's us gather all that together, and it's one button.
Right. So a few weeks ago, we had Walter Spitz on here, and we were talking to him about all of the systems and stuff. And so you guys kind of integrate with him. I mean, it's like you kind of work together a lot of times. Not like one can do the other, but sometimes you guys can do full lighting also. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's really kind of where things have evolved, is that, again, that technology has kind of all come together. And when we're talking about a control system, in our case Savant, it's sitting over the top of what Walter would have done for his lighting control, and it's sitting over the top of shades and everything else.
Right.
And there has to be some
master brain.
Yep, there's got to be something that's controlling all of it.
Yeah, interesting. So I think one of the other fun things I always tell clients is, like, if you're in Chicago and your house is here in Phoenix, and you're looking through your camera and you go, oh, I left the shade on, or the shade open there in the window. You can just hit a button on your phone and drop that shade, right?
Yeah, technology is really got no limits. I mean, as far as boundaries today, as long as you've got either internet access or Wi-Fi or cell coverage, you can control your house from anywhere.
Everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let me ask you this then: what are some of the hot trends you're seeing in your industry now? I watch the technology advance, but I'm thinking there's going to be some point where I just think about the shades close and they'll just start closing. Are they tapping into our brains yet, or are they going to put a chip in our brain? Or
it's probably coming, but I would say that probably the step in between that today is probably voice control.
Okay.
Everybody's seen Alexa and Amazon's product, and then you've got Google Home, and you've got all these different Siri on your Apple phone. The challenge has been that those services, that type of thing, is really, they're trying to generate some sort of revenue. Amazon's trying to get you to buy things from their devices. So there's some security risks. Those things are basically always listening to you.
Right.
And that's been the big concern of a lot of clients, that they've expressed some concern. So there's companies out there today. One of them is called Josh AI, and they're specifically doing voice control that's for home audio, video, home automation. And they've really become, they're fairly new. I think they've been around for about 5 years, but they've really made some good partnerships with a lot of the technology that's available. And it's that step in between thinking it, but you're speaking it, and you're saying, hey Josh, close my shades, and your shades in that room that you're sitting in, they just start closing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So on a typical system, now this question is going to drive you insane, but my house right here is about 4,000 square feet, and let's say I wanted to hook up my TVs, my lighting, my security, what else, my Wi-Fi, and do a simple system. Okay. Now there are systems. There's systems that, like Radio Raw is what I think of, where you can take an existing home and automate it.
Yep, which is a wireless
system.
lighting solution. Yep.
Right, so that's still one of them, right?
Yep, for sure.
Versus, ripping out all the drywall and rewiring the whole house. That's an option too, I guess.
It
right?
is. Yep.
Yeah. Is there anything in between, or are those the two, basic ways of doing it?
Those are kind of the steps, as far as whether it's a existing home that you're just retrofitting in, and there are a lot of products today that are available that you don't have to open up walls and tear things apart. And then, just with the technology and the advancements that have happened in Wi-Fi, wireless technology,
they work pretty well.
Yeah, we can do so well. Like example, your camera system that you got here is a
Right.
completely wireless system.
Yep.
That 10 years ago, that was never even an option.
Right, and it works pretty darn good. I mean, if I was to do like a wireless operation or control system for this house on a 4,000 square foot house, how much would something like that ballpark run?
I mean, we try to give people some general ideas, and we, it's almost like building a house, is you're going to base it on almost square footage, dollar per square foot. So I usually tell people on the kind of the low end of things, maybe it's $10 a square foot, and you can go as crazy as $30 to $40 a square foot. So that at least gives them some sort of a good range. But for us, we can quickly put together a proposal based on their needs, and give them some real good ideas, and really kind of treat it like a shopping list so they can kind of see
Pick and choose.
Yeah, because there's so much stuff that's out there that they probably never even seen or even imagined.
Right. So that's what you do. You come into someone's house, you'll sit down, you'll kind of assess what their needs are, and then put this list together.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, that's usually the best way to do it. And again, like the idea is it's a shopping list. You
Right.
go through and
Pick and choose.
Yep, pick and choose.
Yep. And then the install on something like that, like a 4,000 square foot house, how long does it take?
It can be as quick as a couple days, or it could be as long as a couple weeks.
Okay.
We've got the ability, today with most of the stuff we do is new construction. We actually try to prep and build the racks and equipment and testing all the things in our own facility at our office first, and then bring it out to the client's house to keep that time that we spend in their home
Right.
as minimal as possible.
Right. You don't want to be in that guest room I design all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So, so let me ask you this then: how do you stay motivated? What inspires you? I saw you do some cross training. You like hiking.
I try to find things. Definitely, I spend 3-4 days a week at the gym just to get my mind kind of clear and reset and
Right.
and refocused.
Is it easier to do early in the morning or late at night?
I'm not a first thing in the morning guy. Yeah, I know you're an early bird. For me, I get up. I'm up by 5:15 in the morning, and
That's pretty early.
Yeah, it's pretty early, but I'm getting myself up, and then we got 4 dogs,
Yep.
which is a handful. So I get those guys up and get them fed, and I'm usually to the office by 6:45 to 7. But for me, it's I try to leave the office by 4:30, get home, change, get to the gym, and by 5:30 I'm at the gym. So
Okay.
I'm an evening guy. I'm not a first thing in the morning guy.
So about 3-4 times a week you do this.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. You look like you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I've tried to maintain. I was at a point in about 2011. I was probably 235 or 240 pounds, the heaviest I had ever been in my life, and I decided that I've got to do something, and I found CrossFit, which
Yep.
some people think it's a bit of a cult, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to finding stuff that you enjoy doing, whether it's trying to get in shape or trying to get a job or trying to meet the right person. It's all about finding something that connects with your soul.
For
you
sure.
know? So you do that. You do some hiking too, though. You said.
I do. This time of year, obviously it's pretty hot here in the valley, but I do try to get out. Now as it starts to cool off in the fall, I'll try to get out. And I live in North Scottsdale, so I'm close to Tom's Thumb and a few other gateway trails and things like that I really try to get out and do. I know you enjoy.
Oh yeah. I mean, Phoenix is such a great city to have so many places like that you can go up that are within 5, 10, 15 minutes from your house.
Right.
And I just don't think there's a lot of cities like that. And then if you want to go an hour, it's kind of limitless in Arizona anyway.
It is, for sure.
And if it's hot here, you can go up there and hike, and it's nice and cool. So I love doing that. It's just a great way to kind of leave everything and reset my engine.
Yep, clear your mind.
Yep. So what are some of the things looking to the future for you? I mean, what are some of the things you're thinking of and some of the goals and aspirations you've got coming?
I mean, I just really every day try to just keep focused on new business, new relationship. Relationships are probably the most important thing. I think that and it needs to start with, I think, architects, designers. Those two groups are probably the most important because early on in the project, those are the people that are going to help develop the style and the design of the house. And I just think that there's an importance on education as far as what's available, and just like me talking to a client that I think that you're potentially the client as well, because you've got to start with them first and make sure that the client, your client, understands the things that can go into the house. Right.
I think one of the things I see from the architect standpoint is, a lot of times we don't bring you guys in early enough, and on the budget, AV is always one of those ones that, I got to frame the house, I got to furnish the house, I got to do all this, and then what do I got left for AV?
Right.
It depends on everyone's priority, but it's always one that whatever's left in the budget, okay, I've got $100,000 to spend. Okay, we can do this. Or I've got $20,000 to spend. Well, we can do this. So I find that a lot of times it kind of gets pushed down to the bottom. But then what I also see is, once it starts and they start seeing some of the possibilities, that number always tends to kind of grow a little bit.
It does. Starts to kind of creep up.
Yeah.
And, that's where I think that like you were saying, is that there's 4 or 5 different kind of buckets you have to put the money in, whether it's the house being built, which is framing, and then you've got furnishings, flooring, things like that.
Landscaping.
Yeah. And we should, I think, be considered as one of those other, maybe number 6, because it should be a conversation that should be had earlier, I think. But I think part of it's probably because maybe it's an uncomfortable conversation because you don't know a lot about it.
Right.
And so that's where I think it's important.
Well, I think people worry, I know I got to build the sticks and the bricks and all that. I've got to get a handle on that, and that takes a while to get a handle on that number before they even start thinking, well, where are my speakers going to go and how much am I going to spend on that? And, the thing that we always like to do, too, just from an aesthetic standpoint, is just coordinate, where all of this stuff is going. Where subwoofers are going, where speakers are going, where security cameras are going, because obviously we want it to work, but we also want it to look good. Right.
Yeah, and I think that's also a critical aspect is getting us involved as early as possible so that we can help hide that technology. That's the one thing that we think is important. We want to coexist with the design and the look of the house, and not be the focal point, not be the first thing you see when you walk into a room.
Right.
It's this big black box above the fireplace.
Yeah. The other thing that I've seen too, and I haven't seen it lately as much, but maybe it's still going on, is where your systems will talk to and control the air conditioning systems, like the thermostat. So I know the thermostat part is pretty tied into your system.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can, alongside of lighting, shading, all those things are all there, can all coexist.
Right. So I can adjust the thermostat on my phone or whatever.
Yep, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
Now, in terms of like my dogs barking or my kids being loud, you guys haven't figured that one out yet.
Haven't quite figured that out yet.
It's probably coming though, right?
It probably is.
Yeah. So what else? Let's see. Let's talk about some of the challenges out there for your company and for you yourself.
I think part of that, going back to the education, is that in our industry we have a shortage of obviously good people.
I hear that from every single person I've been talking to.
And it's the same across the board, whether it's electricians, plumbers, everybody needs.
Everyone's getting college degrees to be PhDs in psychology or whatever.
Yeah, or you've got some sort of a degree that isn't going to really get you anything other than a piece of paper.
And debt.
Yeah, and a whole lot of debt.
Right.
So we've tried to be as proactive as we possibly can and trying to get, the young people of America don't need to all be college educated. There's a lot of other opportunities out there to make a lot of money and have a great career. So
you drove up here in a Tesla, if I can say that. I mean, the guard will say, "Hey, your car's not running."
Yeah. So I really like that type of technology as well. So whether it's trying to be greener and not be making an effect on my carbon footprint.
Right.
So yeah, that's the one thing I think for employees is to look at. There's other opportunities out there. It doesn't have to be the college degree type job. It can be something. We're a trade, but we're not the same guys that are doing concrete work, or there's a huge amount of opportunity there.
Yeah, that's good opportunities. I mean, are you taking the time to, if you interview someone and maybe they don't have the technical skill, are you guys taking the time to train them from the ground up? I mean, that's hard. We deal with that all the time. It's like, you never know how good a person is until you kind of get them under your roof and you kind of start let them drive the car a little bit and see what they've got. But then, there's that innate quality. They go, hey, this is a good person. They're hardworking. I can see those characteristics in them. Let's invest the time to train them. Do you guys go through that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, part of our hiring process is it's a 3-part process as far as kind of 3 boxes you got to kind of fill for everybody that we hire. Ben, our owner now, it's a book he read, and it's actually really, I think it works very well. It's being humble, being hungry, and being smart.
Yeah.
So if you don't fit all 3 of those things,
those characteristics,
we're probably not going to be the right fit for us,
Yeah.
because we can make you smarter,
right?
And we can
train you.
Yeah, but you got to be hungry.
You have to have those characteristics.
Yeah, and if you don't, you're probably not going to be somebody that's just going to change. But maybe we can help you. If we got a small part of each one of them, we can always make you improve and you can grow.
Right. Yeah, I always tell people like an athlete, you can't teach an athlete speed.
No.
You either have that innate quality in you or you don't. You can teach them how to block, you can teach them all the technical fundamental skills, but if you don't have that drive and that ability that's just part of who you are, you're not going to teach that to that person.
For sure.
You know, and I find that you just have to get the right mix of people that all have those type of characteristics to form your team. So, you know, how many people are at Cyber Group right now?
Between the 4 divisions, we've got a little over 100 people.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people.
We're a big company.
Yeah, and there's different roles and responsibilities that each of those people have, but they all have to work together in a way, right?
Yeah, we're definitely one big team. I mean, it's definitely not going to work if we're not all communicating.
Right. I always kind of use the thing, you know, a running back is only as good as his left tackle and right guard. You know, I mean, those guys have to do their job in order for the running back to be good.
For sure.
And so it's the whole team that really, really matters. And it's probably the same with the technology. I mean, everything has to work together, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a huge connection point that's got to be made, and if it's not done right,
the whole system breaks down.
The whole system's, and it's really not that there's anything probably wrong with any one component. It's just that it wasn't properly
integrated.
put together. Yeah, it wasn't integrated.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So, what else? Tell me some other stuff. What's cooking at Cyber Group? You guys got some new divisions or new things you guys are delving into?
Yeah, I think by the end of this year, for sure, beginning of next year, we've got some things we've been working on that might, I think, shake up the market here a little bit.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it may ruffle some feathers, I guess. But we see that we've got to continue to keep growing because as technology evolves, more of it becomes do-it-yourself DIY type things, and less of it's in our kind of our bucket as far as things that we do. But there are other sides of it that if it's not done by someone, it's a professional company, it isn't done right, and then and then people get the kind of the
bad rap
and a bad taste in their mouth that the technology isn't working.
Right.
So there's definitely some different things we're looking at, and I think this year, beginning of next year, we're gonna shake some things up. So
interesting.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, we find the same thing. We have to always constantly be evolving. You can't just do the same thing over and over again. You have to really kind of be looking for where's the technology going, what are customers asking for, what's the experience they want to have, and you got to venture out and just try some new things. So, in terms of like some of the systems, like we're using AutoCAD, and I know there's ArchiCAD out there, but then there's Revit. Now, do you guys get into those systems, or in terms of integrating? Do you guys get into drawing the systems and working with our drawings?
We've got a couple different guys in our office that do all of our kind of design and engineering stuff like that. And there's a couple programs that are out there. Bluebeam is one that we've started using that actually helps us kind of just take in the drawings and do some different things with 3D modeling. But it's less of that compared to what you're doing in the architecture world. But we definitely have some smart guys that can get into drawings and line drawing diagrams and how the things all interconnect and we try to not overcomplicate that side of it because it sometimes slows the process and there's it's just a lot of extra time. But
what about virtual reality? You guys do anything with that?
There are some companies out there that that they've actually done. Which I think is the same thing on the architecture side, is you can actually just put on a pair of goggles and you can do a virtual a walkthrough on a home and see the ceilings, the walls, and there's companies out there that are actually putting our technology, and so you can see the TV size and the speakers and the things that are out
in
there
in
the space, which is pretty neat. We haven't got into it a bunch, but I mean it's definitely something we've talked about. But it's definitely a niche type product.
What about virtual reality entertainment systems where the people are in the house, they put the helmets on and they're watching a movie, or they're doing a virtual reality experience?
Yeah, I think that the challenge with that is that a lot of times those kind of closed systems that you put onto your face. Same thing with technology. A few years ago, 3D was a big kind of buzzword, and people
didn't see it.
Yeah, didn't really enjoy it, and then I find a lot of clients actually get almost motion sickness from it. So it's that's always a challenge. I think the traditional TV on the wall or
still works pretty good.
Works great.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. When I put those helmets on, I don't feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
So the nice screen TVs are pretty cool. So What's the most common big screen TV right now? It's like, is it the 80-inch or is it 120-inch? I mean, what's the big rage these days?
I mean, there's a couple manufacturers out there: Sony, Samsung, Planar, kind of the three kind of big brands that we carry that'll do up to 100-inch TVs, which is
100-inch.
That's kind of the breaking point. Which are still expensive TVs.
So how much? What 100-inch run?
The 98 Sony is a $70,000 TV.
70,000?
Yeah.
For a TV?
Yep.
So my 70-inch TV is not a bad deal.
No, so that's just it's kind of crazy. You can go
I
from
got a Costco for like $1,500 or something like that.
$2,000. Yeah. So it's I think it's one of those things that's definitely a rare product that only a certain amount of people are going to buy, and so they and the technology costs a lot to build something that big. So
that's crazy. So what about the projector screens? Are people still doing those?
Yeah, we do a bunch of those. The technology has gotten much better.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, really clear. I mean, there's projectors that'll do up to the 4K format, which is pretty common today. Even now, we've already gone to 8K.
Wow.
So the video technology, the clarity is so much further ahead of them than what we can actually even get on our TVs at home, because the broadcast companies are having challenges with revenue and being profitable. So
that whole part of the industry is completely changing too. The streaming and the cable, and who's going to win that, do you think?
Yeah, and that's definitely been a challenge, because cable services and DirecTV, Dish Network, those companies, they're losing their share of people, and people just want to cut the cord.
Right.
So I think there's definitely options, whether it's using an Apple TV, Roku. There's a number of different services, and these companies called like there's Sling and different so there's different ways of getting content. The challenge is that they're not all available in one spot anymore.
Right.
So you have to
just scramble all over the place.
Yeah. So you've got 5 or 6 different accounts that you don't necessarily want to have to try to, trying to remember all the passwords and how you get logged in.
Okay. So the password thing, someone's got to come up with a way of fixing that whole thing, because that's just a mess.
Yeah. There's different apps out there like Password Keeper and things like that.
Yeah.
But,
it's nuts. I mean, this stuff's just going to keep changing. I mean, it seems like as soon as I kind of think I have got it figured out, there's some whole new thing going on. And how do you stay up to speed? Do you go to seminars? What do you guys do to find out what's going on?
We luckily have most of the manufacturers that we deal with will bring training into us.
Yeah.
And actually I'm leaving tomorrow to head to Denver this year. Our electronics show, it's called CEDIA. And basically it's a week-long show where they show off the new technology, and all of the vendors, all of our manufacturers will be there. There are trainings that are available there on the week that we're there.
Right.
And
I know Las Vegas has a big show like that usually in January or something like that.
Yeah, and that's a little bit broader of a show. So that's the Consumer Electronics.
That's it.
CES.
Yeah.
And this one is called CEDIA. So CEDIA is specifically for custom electronics.
Gotcha.
And so there'll be some overlap in those two shows, but the one in the fall, which is ours, is specifically going to be for high-end audio video automation. Whereas the CES, you could go there and you could see car audio, and you could see washers and dryers and printers, and there's everything there. So it's a little bit broader, but both of those are definitely important.
Yeah.
For just for people to see the technology and see what's coming.
Right. That's cool. So do you like to travel?
I do. My wife and I definitely don't do enough of it. We would love to do more of it.
Yeah, to get you on one of my trips one of these days.
Yeah, next one for sure.
So where have you guys been?
3-4 years ago, we went to Costa Rica. It was probably one of our big trips. We're trying to hopefully maybe this 2020 year try to plan something maybe to get to Hawaii, which would be a great trip for us. But,
yeah. That's cool.
We've got a huge bucket list of things that we would love to do. But
that empty nester thing's coming, so you're going to be able to do some of that stuff.
It is.
Now, your wife likes to travel too?
She does.
Yeah, cool.
She's got the opportunity. When she was younger with her family, they did a lot more traveling than we've been able to do. But we're trying to hopefully get to that point where we can get a little more free time.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, I think this has been very helpful. I've learned a lot just listening to what all the new technology and all the new things, the trends that are coming out there. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
So you got the holidays coming up, the fall weather. Aren't you ready for fall?
I'm ready for NFL football.
Well, you love football, right?
Yeah. So I was.
You watched that game yesterday.
I watched the Cardinals. Unfortunately, that was a tough one.
At least we tied. I guess that's the only way you can look at it.
Yeah, better than a loss.
So that kind of leads me to one other question, real quick. I mean, you've had to have done some just amazing houses for some crazy people.
We have we've got a couple projects right now that I think as far as size, they're the two largest homes in the valley. Those clients, unfortunately, have specifically asked that I not talk about them. But those are probably two of the most amazing projects that I've been on. We're talking 45 to 60,000 square foot homes.
Isn't that crazy?
Those are estates, but
yep.
And I've seen some other really neat things: bowling alleys.
Yeah, we're doing a few of those.
Yep.
Yep.
Shoot gun ranges in the houses. Indoor, Olympic-sized lap pools for training.
You're describing one of my projects.
Yep, it's pretty amazing to see just what people will put in their homes, and amazing, beautiful projects as far as the quality and the finishes and things like that.
Right.
So
it's neat to see some of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I sometimes forget that we live in a city that is not like many others. I mean, there are other places that people will spend the kind of money that they do on homes here, but it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so there's a whole movement underway with the whole wellness system, with how lighting and sound and all these different aspects affect a person's wellness. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we were actually approached by a company called Delos. They're I think based out of California.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
And what they're trying to do is introduce the home wellness technology, and what that means is you're able to change the temperature or the intensity of lighting, the quality of your air in the home, and even the quality of water, and trying to make sure that you're getting the best possible environment for yourself to live in.
Yep.
So that's something that I think is really going to change how a home is built, and people are really concerned about that.
Yeah.
And we're working with a company called Ketra that's actually was recently purchased by Lutron, and they're a lighting company, and they're able to manufacture a light that can give you the different temperatures of light that you'd see in a natural sunlight during the day. So as you're getting
during the course of a day.
So you get up in the morning, you've got that warm glow, and then you're getting to the middle of the afternoon, you've got a very bright white, makes your mind clear, and you're able to work. And then as you start getting towards the evening, it's kind of again going back down to that warm.
Yeah, that cocktail hour light. I really like that kind of light. Yeah, that's my favorite
for sure. So that's something that that I think as far as technology. We've been asked to help with that because it's a very sophisticated system, and there's a lot of integration that happens, and you have the ability to do so many different things with it that an electrician by himself may not be able to do that. And it's gonna be a game changer because it's gonna disrupt a few things with the HVAC guys and the electricians and then so they've come to us because of the level of technology that we've been involved with before. So
it makes sense. I mean, I think about stuff like that all the time in terms of, especially even work environment. You said it when we first met today. I mean, you spend 2/3, if not 3/4 of your time at the office, and you look at a lot of those office environments and the lighting and the air, and sometimes they're just horrible,
Yeah, majority of them are horrible.
Yeah, so you're spending 2/3 or 3/4 of your time in a horrible environment. I mean, think of what your productivity and creativity could do if the air is perfect and the lighting is doing the circadian rhythm. And I mean, I think the opportunities there are pretty enormous.
Yeah, I think it's a huge potential as far as what can be done, and then also just we all want to be healthier.
Right.
I think that that's part of the key as far as some of the studies that they've done. They've shown with the right type of lighting in hospitals and things for people to heal. So if we're not injured, obviously that helps us too as well. It doesn't even have to be. It's something we're in a hospital for. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading about light itself and the quantum physics of light, and it's energy. Light is energy. And so that energy is coming at you and through you, and what all is entailed in that in terms of your health and your well-being. there's a lot to it that I don't think we totally understand yet.
No, for sure. I think that's something that I think we're going to see a huge push in this. And I've part of what I'll see this next week when I go to the electronics show is there's whole pavilions that are going to be just based on wellness. So it's definitely something that's going to be.
It's all tying together.
It's tying together, and you're going to see a lot of it, a lot of publicity on it, and I think it's important.
Big new wave. Pardon the pun again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, does Cyber Group? Are you only based in Phoenix, Scottsdale, or are you guys doing stuff in Las Vegas, Los Angeles?
We pretty much are based here in Arizona. We will do, some projects out of state, but it's going to be something that we've got, whether it's a client that's already here existing that we've done a home for. But it's going to be pretty unique as far as if we're doing something out of state. It's just
no plans to like franchise and have Cyber Group all over the country. And
no, we're here to serve this market.
Service Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix. We do a little bit of stuff in Sedona, a little bit of stuff in Prescott, Flagstaff, but primarily Arizona.
Primarily Arizona. Yeah. Well, I know my clients love you. They request you. I've got clients that will tell other clients about you.
That's awesome.
And so I think you're the only person I know at Cyber Group, to be honest with you. So I always say, you got to talk to Deric. Deric will take care of you. So
I appreciate that.
No, you do a great job. And like I say, clients love you. I love working with you. You're always easy. You're always super, super responsive, which to me is the best thing in the world. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
So I think that takes care of everything. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Anything you want to ask or plug in?
I think that's it. I think we did a pretty good run through of everything we can think about.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. How do we get a hold of Cyber Group?
Our website is experiencecybergroup.com.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. We're actually both company and personally, I'm on both of those as well.
Okay, good.
But the website is probably the best.
And they can find you on the website probably too, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, take care.
Okay, great job there, Deric. I tell you, Cyber Group is doing some amazing stuff. They're just finishing our office expansion, and just the changes in technology in the last 5 years from when we did our office 5 years ago, it's incredible. I mean, it's hard to think where this is all going to be 5-10 years from now, but I'm thinking eventually I'm just going to be able to sit and think, and the lights will turn on or turn off, or who knows, right? Anyway, it's a great morning. It's still dark out. Just doing this podcast. It's raining, kind of nice. I can't believe how fast this month is flying by, and I just want to thank everybody who came out to the Taliesin West last week. We had a beautiful, beautiful evening, sunset cocktail, fabulous dinner. Want to thank everybody at at Taliesin West. The staff over there was very accommodating. The tour guides are amazing. I really encourage you to get out there and check that place out. It is truly a treasure, sitting right in the middle of Scottsdale there. It's actually now the geographical center of Scottsdale, which is hard to believe. I think Frank Lloyd Wright would freak out if he saw Taliesin today. Not that Taliesin has changed that much, but the area around it sure has developed and grown. And it was a fun evening. I want to thank Stuart Graff for hosting us. Their staff, our caterers did a great job. Our violin player was amazing. It was just overall a very magical evening. I want to thank all the guests who came and made the contribution to the Frank Lloyd Wright Fellowship. I know it's all going to a great cause. I think we raised over $4,000 or close to it. And so that's always appreciated, I'm sure. So thank you. We'll probably set up something again this fall because it was such a fun event. And so we'll attend. We had 30 people. And just a fun night. I mean, we had a great time. So thanks again. Keep listening to the podcast. We've been growing really well. And we've got some great guests coming up. In fact, my dad's 85th birthday is coming up on January 31st. And so I'm going to try to do a podcast with Dad. We'll see how that one goes. But all good, staying very busy. It is so busy down here in Arizona right now. I'll tell you, this market is absolutely humming. Doing all kinds of stuff. We're doing stuff all over the country, actually. We got a cool project in North Carolina that we're doing, a little project in Cupertino, California, and a lot of stuff in between. So very exciting stuff. So thanks again, and let's make it a good one. Keep inspiring living, folks. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our new sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.